When I was like 10 years old, my life goal was to buy a Lamborghini Gallardo. But then as I got older, maybe I was around 12 at the time, different life problems started occurring. You know, I had very strong, intense self-hatred. I had facial dysmorphia. I had identity issues, you know, felt completely lost in the world. And I remember this one moment, looking at myself in the bathroom mirror, wet eyes, super emotional, feeling this intense self-hatred towards myself. I hated myself so much. And I just wanted to love myself. That's what it was like. I hated myself, but I just felt so depressed and sad because I wanted to love myself, but I couldn't. And then the realization hit me out of nowhere. Buying a Lamborghini would not fucking make me love myself. So instantly in that moment, the whole value I had for, you know, materialism, consumerism, it just fucking vanished. It just collapsed instantly. It wasn't a slow collapse. It collapsed in the blink because it felt completely meaningless to my 12-year-old self because it wouldn't make me love myself. And that's all I wanted as a 12-year-old. I just wanted to not hate myself. So from a young age, I ended up being anti-luxury, anti-consumer, anti-materialistic, right? This is a value that I held deeply to me. And eventually, like, I don't remember when exactly, but eventually, you know, I started comparing myself to others for this value of materialism. You know, someone would talk to me about their life goals. And keep in mind, I'm like 13, 14, someone's telling me their life goal, you know, they want to buy this luxury car, they want to own this business, they want to go to fancy restaurants, right? And I wouldn't say it to their face, but I looked down on them. I thought the goals they had were pathetic. You know, this is how I felt as a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, right? Again, I don't know when exactly it started, you know. I wasn't looking down on people at 12, I don't think, but eventually I started looking down on people. So I had this sense of superiority, we could call it, but it expressed itself in the form of looking down on others and kind of not respecting them for that goal they had. And look, shit, you know, this is something a lot of anti-materialistic, anti-consumeristic people do. They judge others who do want these things, you know. Oh, they're still trapped in the matrix. Oh, these people don't think at all, you know. A lot of heavy judgments. And like I said, I lived with these judgments for like 15 years, you know, before I got rid of them, which is the story of this video. It wasn't a super strong sense of superiority. Like at some points in my life, it definitely was. Like, I don't know exactly what age, but maybe in my late teens, early 20s, I would really harshly judge people for being very materialistic, you know. But as I got older, the sense of superiority became very soft, like a very soft underlying sense of superiority. Like, I would look down on them for having this desire to be rich, for example. But like, it was never really a part of my personality to be like, oh, I'm superior. Like, that was never it. It was just me judging people, looking down on people. So when I say superiority, that's kind of what I mean. I know this is a fuzzy concept of a word. It's pretty polysemous. It can mean a lot of different things. So that's kind of what it was for me. It was just incessant internal judging of other people, constantly looking down on other people. Then this big shift happened in how I started thinking about people. I can't point to one moment. It was just a bunch of experiences that humbled me and made me realize that I don't know shit. I'm winging this life shit like everyone else. And that pushed me to stop being the guy with all the opinions all the time. You know what I mean? Like honestly, look at Reddit, look at YouTube comments, look anywhere where people discuss things online with other people. Everyone's just giving their opinion. How many people are actually asking questions to the people they're talking with? So I started doing that. I started being the super question asker, because I actually did have curiosity once I realized that I don't know fucking dick about life. Because before, you know, I thought, oh, I have a lot of this shit figured out, so here's me with my opinion and I'm gonna fucking solve everyone's problems, right? No. Eventually I realized that I know some shit, I don't know fucking much though. So I started asking people, getting curious, you know, and their background too, you know, because I'm a big proponent of autobiographical pedagogy, which basically means teaching and learning through your personal narratives, right? So when people make a video sometimes, or they give their opinion on something, sometimes they're doing it in very vague ways. So this would never teach me. This never helped me. So I always had to ask questions. So I started asking people questions, understanding what was going on in their head, certain past beliefs they've had, where they're at today. I mean, just trying to guide them to basically being able to give an autobiographical perspective, or their opinion shared in an autobiographical way, instead of a you must do this, or people this, people that. It was no, I felt this way, I did this, I used to think this. That's what I like to read and learn from. So that's what I was trying to get out of people. I was using autobiographical pedagogy to learn from people. I was getting them to tell me their first person narratives of their experiences and how they learned it and things along those lines. And doing this really opened up my eyes a lot. You know, I really realized that everyone is really thinking deeply about their life, the decisions they make. Okay, maybe not everyone. The people who would reply to me, right? And there's definitely a bias in the type of people who would reply to me and be interested in this sort of autobiographical exchange. But regardless, it made me realize in a very first person way, like primary evidence way. We always hear people say that, you know, like, oh, you know, everyone has their own timeline, everyone has their own reason, right? But you know, when I experience it firsthand by literally talking to people and really getting to know people, strangers on the internet, you know, but also people in real life. But yeah, they really opened up my eyes. And it was also like when I look back on my past selves, right? Like all the things I used to believe, all the ways I used to behave. And then it really hit me. It's like, why am I judging other people for being at a different stage in life? Like, I've lived through a lot of these stages that I'm judging people for being in. Would I judge my past self for being in that stage? Would these judgments help my past self? No. The things I thought were the way back then, they aren't the way now. Everyone's on their own timeline. So I really started to understand this firsthand. And that's when the superiority thing, the looking down on other people, even if it was soft, because I do really want to reiterate that when I say looking down on other people, right, it wasn't in like a very dramatic, hateful way. But there were a lot of those like intrusive judgments. You know what I'm saying? Like intrusive thoughts come in all different types of forms. I get a lot of intrusive jokes that are, they do make me laugh in my head, but fuck, I would never say them because they're rude. They would hurt people. I didn't make those jokes up. They just fucking pop in my head, right? Same thing with these judgments that I would have, you know, looking down on people. It was a lot of intrusive judgments, but there were some conscious judgments as well. All I want to say is that it wasn't like super harsh, but it was still there. So yeah, looking down on people, the superiority, you know, it started feeling really fucking hollow and icky. Like when these judgments came up, intrusive or conscious, like I just felt icky in my body. Like just icky. Like the way you feel when you don't get enough sleep. You got 2 hours of sleep, you wake up, you feel icky. I felt icky like that when I started looking down on other people for their materialism or other things that I looked down on people for, or did look down on people for. And then came the real breakthrough, the realest breakthrough that fucking shifted my mind. You know, one day I had this realization that this isn't about being better than anyone, right? It's about being grateful for who I am, what I can do, what guides me, what I feel. Like, I can acknowledge that not being materialistic is a good thing, right? But there's two ways to do this. I can look down on people who are materialistic, or I can just be grateful and happy that I am not materialistic. And that reframing was the big shift for me. And that felt so fucking freeing. it allowed me to start loving myself more. I started being able to just accept and appreciate other people more, like appreciate them for their life and their story and their fucking path, you know, because I wasn't seeing them as competitors anymore. It's like these judgments made me see other people as competitors to some extent, like competition against me, like I want to be better than you because we're all humans competing in life. But that's bullshit. We're not fucking all competing in life. We're all going through the same shit together. And then I started realizing that, you know, all of my judgments, not all of them, but the large portion of my judgments came from ego inflation. You look down on someone else to feel better about yourself, but you can also feel better about yourself by just being grateful for who the fuck you are. If you like who you are, or you like this aspect about yourself. I'm happy I'm not materialistic. So I can choose to be grateful for not being materialistic, or I can choose to look down on others for being materialistic. One is ego inflation, one is self-love. I'm gonna choose self-love because self-love is fucking awesome. Like another example would be like, so I'm like 30 now, and the thing about, you know, aging into your mid-20s up to your 30s is that a lot of people you went to high school with, elementary school with, they fucking become out of shape. They gain a lot of weight, they lose mobility. It's sad. Back then, I would, in my mind, judge them. I'd be like, look at me, I'm still in shape, I'm still athletic, I'm still mobile. You let yourself go. And I would judge them for it. In my head, I wouldn't say it to them, but in my head, I would judge them for it. But now, like, thinking of those judgments, they just, like I said, they make me feel icky. They don't feel good. But what does feel good is just saying, no. It's not about being better, man. I'm grateful that I'm fucking in shape. I'm grateful that I'm still mobile. I'm grateful that I'm athletic. I'm grateful that I'm able-bodied. That's amazing. That's a blessing, right? And so in that moment, I didn't take anyone down. I just lifted myself up. You know, lifted myself up with gratitude, not taking someone else down with ego. Like, this self-gratitude makes me appreciate myself more and makes me more curious to others and more forgiving with others. Like, it expanded my theory of mind in a new way, like a new type, a new pathway, a new avenue to have better theory of mind, more compassionate. It's like, the simplest way I can put it is like this. Gratitude is feeling happy that I am the way I am, at least in certain aspects, right? Always room to grow. Superiority is looking down on other people for not having the skills, abilities, insights, or even the desires that I have. Because believe it or not, I've fucking looked down on people for their desires before. Who hasn't? So it's like, I'm happy I'm creative. I'm happy I'm athletic. I'm happy I'm curious. I'm happy I'm not materialistic. I'm not happy when I'm incessantly putting others down on my mind. I'm not happy when I realize I'm more athletic than another person my age. I'm not happy when I judge another person for being too shy to dance in public, but I'm happy I can dance in public. I'm just sharing a couple songs from one of my albums. If you like the vibe, the full album's in the description.